The inception of this episode starts with the Soul Society recuperating from the destruction of the Quincy's, taking injured people to the hospital beds and wrapping their wounds. A medical professional gave Ichigo a report from Urahara on his friends Orihime and Chad, saying that they both are safe. Ichigo then checks on Rukia because she just got out of surgery. Ichigo's comrades knew that if he hadn't arrived to the battlefield to help out Soul Society, a lot of things could have been a lot worse. However, someone interrupted their conversation, telling Ichigo he needs to follow him now. It's about his Zanpakuto. Ichigo immediately ran towards the urgent location. Next we see all the captains in the room together with Yamamoto's broken sword lying on the table. It was said that they have no idea where Yamamoto's body is, and it is safe to say that the enemy obliterated his entire body. All the captains at this moment are shocked and in pain of the emotional news. Now listen to this. A messenger arrived in the room and said that Byakuya and Kenpachi are alive. This was a big moment for me because I knew that Kenpachi would survive. He's just built different. But I really thought Byakuya was dead. The directors and the writers had an emotional ending to his battle. He said his final words, and they showed his sword crumbling into thousands of pieces as the screen turned to white. And a couple of episodes later, he's alive? Remarkable. But if you think Byakuya should have died at that moment, let me know what you think in the comments below. Mayuri tells Ichigo that his Zanpakuto is broken in its Bankai state, so it can never be restored. Ichigo was flabbergasted after hearing what Mayuri said. Then he asked him, "Don't you rebuild Zanpakutos?" And Mayuri responds, "Absolutely not, he just modifies it." He then tells Ichigo to follow him because the Magnificent Zero Squad is arriving. Once we get to the location, Ichigo asks, "Where are the Zero Squad located?" And the captain of the first squad says, "The Royal Palace." And instantly we see a massive pillar barreling down from the sky, landing directly in front of them. The doors open and we see the Zero Squad make their first appearance in Bleach 1000-Year Blood War arc. Throughout this conversation, it's mostly the Zero Squad catching up with the captains, but then they revealed their true purpose. The Zero Squad is here to rebuild the 13 Core Guard Squad. However, a TV screen was projected in the air, and we see Urahara, Orihime, and Chad on the screen talking to Ichigo. But there was a mysterious character behind them that kinda looks familiar. I'm not sure who it is, so if you guys have any thought on who this character is, can you post it in the comments below? But there's a catch, you can only post wrong answers. I think that would be fun. Ichigo asked the bald guy, can he fix his Zanpakuto? And he replies, no, it can't be fixed. But they can reforge him a new weapon if he can come to the Royal Palace with him. There was no hesitation, and Ichigo agrees and arrive at the Royal Palace. This palace looks really amazing. It reminds me of King Kai's place when Goku was training in the afterlife. Later, Ichigo enters into a hot spring that can heal anybody's wounds. One of the head characters threw Byakuya's body on the other side of the spring to help him replenish his blood he lost during battle. Tenjiro turned around and told Ichigo that one day in the spring can help replenish all his injuries, and we see his nickname, the Hot Spring Demon. Episode 9, The Drop. Ichigo is currently underwater to heal his upper body, but he can't hold his breath for too long and kicked one of the employees in the head. The Hot Spring Demon told Ichigo he's not done and punched him in the face. Afterwards, he told Ichigo to look at his bodies and your injuries have healed. He punches Renji in the stomach to see if his injuries healed as well, and he was correct. So they sent Ichigo and Renji off. Captain of the first squad is no longer the leader. He is now the head captain, taking the place of Yamamoto. The first thing he wants to do as head captain is teach Kenpachi Zanjutsu. But the higher-ups were denying his request because they were afraid if Kenpachi became more powerful, if he revolts their decisions, it would be extremely trouble trying to control him. A moment of silence was present after Shun Tzu asked, who will protect you when you are in danger? Yourselves? Shun Tzu took the moment of silence as a yes, so he brings in the first Kenpachi ever, Yunohana. Renji and Ichigo are falling out of the sky and it fell on the inflated teddy bear to survive. They arrived at the kitchen area and the lady fixed them a massive meal that looks just amazing. Ichigo and Renji didn't waste no time and stuffed their face relentlessly. So these last 2 episodes really focus on lighting up the mood after a crazy and brutal start of the story. So I understand this. But listen to this. The lady was cooking the food somehow got extremely hot and skinny with big boobs, and Ichigo and Renji and the teddy bear spit out their food as she came out the curtains. That's funny. The whole time she was talking about their training in Soul Society, the men did not hear anything that was coming out of her mouth because she was so beautiful. This reminds me of the exact same thing that Denji did when Power was trying to talk to him on the bus and nothing entered his mind. Like everything that they were saying was obsolete. Ichigo and Renji then shouted, "What are you?" And she states that she uses all her energy while cooking and it burns all of her fat. Her name is the Grain King, Kairio. Now we see Kenpachi entering the lowest level of the prison to fight the first Kenpachi, Unohana. Kenpachi states that when we fight, it's going to be hell. And Unohana responded, "I like you better when you were quiet." She then continues and says that every time she hears his voice, it reminds her of the scar he gave her a long time ago. They both launch at each other in rage. However, before the fight, we see Unohana's backstory of the original Core Guard Squad, captain of the 11th Division. Right before she became captain, she was the most fearsome criminal in Soul Society, and she gave herself the name Yachiru, meaning 8,000 styles. The head captain knew when Unohana fight Kenpachi that she would die. I know he didn't actually say Unohana, but his actions did. The bloodbath continued between the 2 most feared opponents, testing each other's skills. She charged at him when he let his guard down and knocked his sword out of his hands. Her blade was pointed directly at his neck. Kenpachi stated that when he fought her the first time in battle, it was the first time that he felt fear, and it was the first time that he enjoyed the battle. Unohana then reveals that Kenpachi's #1 flaw is that he gets stronger on the verge of death, but that's also her sin as well.